Hello from Kingfisher, Oklahoma. Today we're going to look at 5 things from 1 Samuel 14 and 15. Number 1, Israel is in a bit of a spot. They have a disobedient king. They're hiding. They don't have any swords. They're stuck. They're surrounded by thousands of Philistines. And what are we going to do? But one thing they have going for them, and this is number 2, they have Jonathan, who is relying on God. And when we rely on God, things are way better than we could make them ourselves. I know sometimes it doesn't look like it. Like here, what are they going to do? But Jonathan decides, I'm going to walk towards the Philistines and see if God will give them over into our hands. His armor bearer goes with him. So 2 guys against thousands of Philistines. It's a crazy Jericho type strategy. But it's worked before, and Jonathan truly is relying on God to do it, not his own strength. And 3, this is one of my favorite lines from the Bible, and it just is a picture of the kind of reliance we should have on God. And it says this, "For there is no restraint to the Lord to save by many or few." So it doesn't matter to God whether he's got a lot of people with him or a few, or a lot of resources going for him or not much. It doesn't matter. God doesn't need your superiority, your abilities to make things happen. He's not reliant on you. So that's great. For those of us in situations where it's like, oh, I can't do this, that's okay. Why don't you let God work in your life and see what can happen? He could do miracles. And of course, number 4, these 2 guys walk towards the Philistines, and God routs the Philistines. Has nothing to do with Jonathan. It has nothing to do with the armor bearer and their amazing sword abilities. God routs the Philistines. So pretty amazing. And it starts this avalanche, and Israelites start coming from everywhere while the Philistines are running away, and they get killed, and success. Meanwhile, Saul the king, supposed to be leading the people, is just making trouble for Israel. He makes this rule that nobody can eat till they slaughter all the Philistines, and the guys are weak and they're hungry because they've been chasing them all night. Then he and his son get into it. Saul is just a mess. Now, it would be better if Saul was a mess, but he kept stumbling towards God. But he keeps going away from God, and that's contributing to the mess. Number 5, we see that God, after the Philistine incident, is going to use Saul to destroy the Ammonites to judge them. Hey, they didn't treat us right on the road up, so I'm going to use you, Israel, under Saul's leadership, to go judge them by destroying them. But here's the deal. Don't take any of their stuff. That's going to be destroyed under the ban. Well, Saul's in charge, so he goes. He takes a big army with him, and they indeed do smite the Ammonites, but the problem is he keeps the best of the stuff. Oh, well, I was going to sacrifice that to God. Maybe, but maybe not. Maybe you're just keeping it from yourself. And Samuel loses it. He's like, you had one job to do. That's to kill these guys and destroy all the stuff too. But you didn't do it. And so Samuel then reminds Saul that he's not going to stay king because he can't follow God for worth anything. And then Samuel and Saul actually part ways, and that's not good either. If you don't have, words of wisdom coming your way from a man of God, yikes, it could go really wrong. And Saul's already on the outs with God, and now he doesn't have Samuel to help guide him either. Well, that looks like big time problems. So we'll see what will happen. Let's jump into our chapter for today, chapter 14. Now it came to pass on that day that Jonathan, the son of Saul, said to the young men that bear his armor, "Come, let us go over to the Philistines' garrison that is on the other side." But he told not his father, and Saul tarried in the uttermost part of Gibeah under the pomegranate tree which is in Migron. And the people that were there with him were about 600 men. And Ahiah, the son of Ahitub, Ichabod's brother, the son of Phinehas, the son of Eli, the Lord's priest in Shiloh, wearing an ephod. And the people knew not that Jonathan was gone. And between the passages which Jonathan sought to go over into the Philistine garrison, there was a sharp rock on one side and a sharp rock on the other. The name of one was Bozez and the other Seneh. That's just bonus information. The forefront of the one was situate northward over Michmash, and the other over southward against Gibeah. And Jonathan said to the young man that bears armor, "Come, let's go over to the garrison of these uncircumcised. It may be that the Lord will work for us, for there is no restraint to the Lord, to save by many or by few." And his armor bearer said unto him, "Do all that is in thine heart. Turn thee, behold, I am with thee according to thy heart." Then said Jonathan, "Behold, we will pass over to these men, and if they discover ourselves unto them, if they say to us, Tarry, we will come to you, then we will stand still in our place, and will not go to them. But if they say, Come up with us, then we will go up, for the Lord hath delivered them into his hand." This is kind of like Gideon and the fleece. It's a sign. "Then we will go up, for the Lord delivered them into our hand, and this will be a sign unto us." And both of them discovered themselves unto the garrison of the Philistines. The Philistines said, "Behold, the Hebrews come forth out of their holes where they hid themselves." And the men of the garrison answered Jonathan and the armor bearer and said, "Come up to us, and we will show you a thing." Come on, I'm going to show you my sword. And Jonathan said to his armor bearer, "Come up after me, for the Lord delivered them into the hand of Israel." Jonathan climbed up on his hands and feet, and his armor bearer after him. And they fell before Jonathan, and his armor bearer slew them after him. At that first slaughter which Jonathan and his armor bearer made was about 20 men, within, as it were, half an acre of land. So pretty quick order, boom, 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 20 guys down, which the yoke of oxen might plow. And there trembling in the host, there was a trembling in the host in the field, and among the people of the garrison, and the spoilers, they also trembled, and the earth quaked. That was God, so that it was a very great trembling. And the watchmen of Saul and Gibeah of Benjamin looked, and behold, the multitude melted away. So this crazy earthquake, this stirring amongst the camp that God has made, freaks everybody out, and they start melting away. They're running. And they went on beating down one another, so now they're attacking each other. Then said Saul unto the people that were with him, "Number now, and see who's gone." And they numbered. Behold, Jonathan and his armor bearer were not there. Saul said to Ahiah, "Bring hither the ark of God," for the ark of God was at that time with the children of Israel. It came to pass, while Saul talked unto the priest, that the noise that was in the host of the Philistines went on and increased. And Paul said unto the priest, "Withdraw thy hand." Saul and all the people who were with him assembled themselves and came to battle, and behold, every man's sword was against his fellow, and there was a great discomfiture. Moreover, the Hebrews that were with the Philistines before that time went up and with them into the camp from the country road, even that turned towards the Israelites that were with Saul and Jonathan. So all the Israelites, whether they were with the Philistines before or other places, start coming in, and they're going to attack the Philistines. Likewise, all the men of Israel which hid themselves in Mount Ephraim, when they heard the Philistines fled, even they followed hard after them in battle. So the Lord saved Israel that day, and that's truly where the credit goes. And the battle passed over to Beth-aven. And the men of Israel were distressed that day, for Saul had adjured the people, saying, "Cursed be the man that eateth any food until evening, that I may be avenged on my enemies." So none of the people tasted any food, and all the land came to a wood, and there was honey on the ground. When the people were there, they came by the wood. Behold, the honey dropped, but no man put a hand to the mouth, for they feared the oath. But Jonathan heard not what his father charged the people with the oath. Therefore he put forth the end of his rod that was in his hand, and dipped it in the honeycomb, and put his hand to his mouth, and his eyes were enlightened. Then answered the people and said, "Thy father straitly charged people with an oath, saying, Cursed be the man that eateth any food this day." And the people were faint. So they're getting weak, they're hungry, they see Jonathan restored. And Jonathan says, "My father hath troubled the land. See, I pray you, how mine eyes have been enlightened, because I have tasted a little of this honey. How much more, if haply people had eaten freely today of the spoils of their enemies which they found, for now there would be a greater slaughter among the Philistines." And they smote the Philistines that day from Michmash to Ajalon, and the people were faint. And the people flew upon the spoil, and took sheep and oxen and calves, and slew them on the ground. And the people did eat them in the blood. uh-oh, now we've got a big problem, because this is strictly against the law for Israelites. They are not to eat the blood of anything, right? They're supposed to spill the blood on the ground, then they can prepare and eat. But they are so hungry, they just go after the raw meat. So Saul's made it very difficult for the people. Saul said, "Behold, the people sin against the Lord in that they eat the blood." And he said, "Ye have transgressed. Roll a great stone unto me this day." And Saul said, "Disperse yourselves among the people, and say to them, Bring me hither every man his ox and his sheep, and slay them here and eat. And do not sin against the Lord in eating with the blood." And all the people brought every man his ox with him that night, and slew them there. Saul built an altar to the Lord, and the same was the first altar that he built unto the Lord. Saul said, "Let us go down after the Philistines by night, and spoil them until morning, and let not leave a man of them." And they said, "Do whatever seemeth good to thee." Then the priest said, "Let us draw hither unto God." And Saul asked counsel of God, "Shall we go down after the Philistines? Wilt thou deliver them into the hand of Israel?" But he answered him not that day. And Saul said, "Draw ye hither all the chief people, and know and see wherein this sin hath been this day. For as the Lord liveth, which saveth Israel, though it be with Jonathan my son, he will surely die." But there was not a man of all the people that answered him. Then he said unto Israel, "Be ye on my side, and I and be ye on one side, and I and Jonathan on the other." And people said unto Saul, "Do what seemeth good." Therefore Saul said to the Lord God of Israel, "Please give a perfect law." So they're going to throw the Urim and Thummim, and they're going to decide whose sin is it, the people's, or is it among Saul and Jonathan? And Saul said, "Cast the lots between..." And Saul and Jonathan were taken by the lot, but the people escaped. Saul said, "Cast the lots between Jonathan and my son." And Jonathan was taken. Saul said to Jonathan, "Tell me what thou hast done." And Jonathan told him and said, "I did but taste a little honey with the end of my rod that was in mine hand, and lo, I must die." Saul said, "God do so more to me, and also, for thou shalt surely die, Jonathan." And the people said unto Saul, "Shall Jonathan die, who wrought this great salvation in Israel? God forbid, as the Lord liveth, there shall not be one hair of his head fall to the ground, for he hath wrought with God this day." So the people rescued Jonathan, and he died not. Then Saul went up to the Philistines, and the Philistines went to their own place. So Saul took the kingdom over Israel and fought against all his enemies on every side, against Moab, against the children of Ammon, against Edom, against the kings of Zobah, and against the Philistines. And whithersoever he turned himself, he vexed them. And he gathered a host and smote the Amalekites, and delivered Israel out of the hands of them that spoiled them. Now the sons of Saul were Jonathan and Ishui, Melchishua, and the names of the two daughters were these: the name of the firstborn Merab, and the name of the younger Michal. We're going to hear her name again. The name of Saul's wife was Ahinoam, the daughter of Ahimaaz. The name of the captain of the host was Abner, the son of Ner, Saul's uncle. And Kish was the father of Saul, and Ner, the father of Abner, was the son of Abiel. And there was a sore war against the Philistines all the days of Saul. When Saul saw any strong man or valiant, he took him unto him. So he's been battling for quite a bit now, and he's had a little disobedience, but we're going to see some more here. Samuel said unto Saul, the Lord... chapter 15. Samuel said unto Saul, "The Lord sent me to anoint thee to be king over Israel. Now therefore hearken unto the voice of the Lord. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, I remember that which Amalek did to the Lord Israel. How he laid in wait for him in the way, and he came up from Egypt. Now go smite Amalek, and utterly destroy all that they have, and spare them not, but slay both man and woman, infant and suckling, ox and sheep, camel and ass." Okay, so just a good time to remind you that the reason they are being killed, is a judgment of them serving other gods, them not doing the right thing. These were wicked nations. They are not innocent. And Saul gathered the people together and numbered them in Telaim, 200,000 footmen and 10,000 men of Judah. And Saul came to the city of Amalek and waited in the valley. And Saul said unto the Kenites, "Go, depart, get you down from among the Amalekites, lest I destroy you with them. For you showed kindness to the children of Israel when they came up out of Egypt." So the Kenites departed from among the Amalekites. And Saul smote the Amalekites from Havilah until thou hast come to Shur. That is over against Egypt. And he took Agag, the king of the Amalekites, alive, and utterly destroyed the people with the edge of the sword. But Saul and his people spared Agag, that's the king, and the best of the sheep, and of oxen, and the fatlings, and of the oxen, the lambs, and all that was good, and would not utterly destroy them. But everything that was vile and refuse they destroyed utterly. Then came the word of the Lord unto Samuel, saying, It repenteth me that I have set up Saul to be king, for he has turned back from following me, and has not performed my commandments. And it grieved Samuel, and he cried out to the Lord all night. When Samuel arose early to meet Saul in the morning, it was told Samuel, saying, Saul came to Carmel, and he said, Behold, get him, and he set him up a place, and it has gone about, and passed on, and gone down to Gilgal. Samuel came to Saul, and Saul said unto him, Blessed be thou of the Lord, I have performed the commandment of the Lord. So now he's lying to Samuel. Samuel said, What meaneth this bleating of sheep in mine ears, and the lowing of oxen which I hear? Saul said, They have brought them from the Amalekites, for the people spared the best of the sheep to offer sacrifice to the Lord thy God. The rest we have destroyed. Then Samuel told Saul, Stay, and I will tell you what the Lord hath told me this night. And he said to him, Say on. Samuel said, When thou wast little in thine own sight, wast thou not made head of the tribes of Israel? And the Lord anointed thee king over Israel? And the Lord sent thee on a journey, and said, Go, utterly destroy the sinners, the Amalekites, and fight against them till they be consumed. Wherefore then didst thou not obey the voice of the Lord, but didst fly upon the spoil, and did evil in the sight of the Lord? Saul said to Samuel, Yea, I have obeyed the voice of the Lord, and have gone the way which the Lord sent me, and have brought Agag, the king of the Amalekites, and utterly destroyed the Amalekites. But the people, now he's blaming the people, but the people took the spoil, and the sheep, and the oxen, and the chief of things that should have been destroyed, to sacrifice them to the Lord thy God in Gilgal. Samuel said, Hath the Lord as great delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices as in obeying the voice of the Lord? Now, that's big right there. Would God rather have your sacrifices or your obedience? Clearly obedience. If we're going to do one thing in life, you need to obey God. Now, you should also bring your offerings to God. I'm not saying that, but obedience. Number 1. Behold, to obey is better than sacrifice, and to hearken than the fat of rams. For rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft, and stubbornness is as iniquity and idolatry. And he's saying, you guys are stubborn. Because thou hast rejected the word of the Lord, he hath rejected thee from being king. Saul said to Samuel, I've sinned, I've transgressed the commandment of the Lord and thy words, because I feared the people and obeyed their voice. Now, therefore I pray thee, pardon my sin, and turn again with me, that I may worship the Lord. Samuel said unto Saul, I will not return with thee, for thou hast rejected the word of the Lord, and the Lord has rejected thee from being king over Israel. And as Samuel turned about to go away, he laid hold upon the skirt of his mantle, and it rent, it tore. And Samuel said unto him, The Lord hath rent the kingdom of Israel from thee this day, and given it to the neighbor of thine, that is better than thou. And also the strength of Israel will not lie nor repent, for he is not a man. So he's calling God the strength of Israel, which is true. He's not a man that he should repent. And he said, I have sinned. Yet honor me now, I pray thee, before the elders of my people and before Israel, and turn again with me, that I may worship the Lord thy God. So Samuel turned again after Saul, and Saul worshipped the Lord. Then Samuel said, Bring hither me Agag, the king of the Amalekites. And Agag came and unto him delicately. And Agag said, Surely the bitterness of death is past. And Samuel said, As thy sword has made women childless, so shall thy mother be childless among women. And Samuel hewed Agag in pieces before the Lord in Gilgal. Yeesh. And Samuel went to Ramah, and Saul went up to the house of Gibeah of Saul. And Samuel came no more to see Saul until the day of his death. Nevertheless, Samuel mourned for Saul, and the Lord repented that he made Saul king over Israel. Well, there you go. The truth of the matter is, we need to obey God, and that's far better than any sacrifice we could bring. Well, we're going to find out more of the story, and we'll catch you next time.